The new IRCC rule of working 24 hours for international student is finally here, but it can cost you your future. And in this video, we'll be talking about students who are going to benefit the most, students who are going to be in trouble because of this new change. So make sure you watch this video till the end. According to Marc Miller, in 2024 September, international students can work around 24 hours every single week legally, and it's absolutely illegal to work more than that because, according to him, our first preference should be our studies. And the good news is, according to this new rule, there are possibilities of increasing the part-time opportunities for students around your campus. This can actually help us to find the part-time jobs much more easily. This is according to him. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Because I know rather than hiring 3 students, a store owner will eventually hire 1 or 2 and try to give them all the hours. That has happened here for the most part. I hope it changes. Now, if you just arrived in Canada for your May intake, you can only work 20 hours if you're studying from May to September. But if you have a dedicated break in your study term, which means co-op, then you can work unlimited hours. And if you're struggling to find a co-op, then don't worry, I'll make another video in which I will showcase you how I was able to land 4+ government co-ops and how you can do the same. But if I were to come to Canada in 2024, I would still work only 20 hours and I would invest those additional 4 hours in myself. Because here's the thing, let's say if I come to Canada and within 2 to 3 weeks I land a part-time job making me minimum wage in Ontario, which is $16 an hour, which will eventually help us make $1,250 in a month. But on the other side, say we are working for 24 hours in a week on minimum wage, we will end up making anywhere between $1,530. And if you're someone who's currently struggling with finding a part-time job, then guys, please join us for our free session that we host every single month where we help students like you to get your first part-time job, or if you just graduated, to help you find your first full-time job. It's absolutely free. You can check out it in the description below. But with those additional 4 hours, I will invest that in my own skills, such as Power BI, because Canada is currently seeing the data transformation, communication and interview skills, networking skills, and also attending the career fairs. Because guess what? Saving 4 hours a week will eventually make up 16 hours in a month and 128 hours in 8 months, which will help me to target my summer internship, which will make me anywhere between $24 to $28 an hour working within Government of Canada or with any private firm. And it is totally possible, guys, if you start with enough time in hand, gain those skill set, meet some right people, because that literally would help me step into public sector in my second year, and that led to in multiple public sector jobs, full-time, part-time, and I never worked in restaurant ever again. And if you think, Chaitanya, isn't it too early to look for a summer internship, man? It's just September. Well, guess what? It's never too early to look for a job. In fact, you should always look for a job when you don't need one, because the level of stress will be much less. And say if you do work more than 24 hours, right? You work on cash anywhere between 30-40 hours in a week. Well, guess what? In the long run, it's going to directly impact your commitment towards your assignments, your group projects, as well as your final exam, which can also lead to failing your course. Because it also happens. Look at this. And do you know how much does it cost to take a single class again? Anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000 depending on which college or university you're going to. So what happened? You make more money, but you end up paying for the same course again. So at the end, you don't even have skills now, and you also don't have money. And also, guys, I know it's hard, but somebody has to tell you this, that if you are planning on coming abroad with the mindset of paying your own tuition fees, then let me tell you, it's legally not possible to pay off your such a huge tuition fees until you work those illegal hours, which can lead a lot of problems in the future when you're applying for your work permit or even for your PR. So don't make that mistake. So make sure you focus on your skill set, because that will help us eventually come out of the labor minimum wage job. You know, I started working in restaurant. I worked there for a good 6-8 months making minimum wage, but I made sure to meet some great people, get into the volunteer work, organize some events, also perform well in my studies. That eventually led me to get into Service Canada in my second year. And then once I was graduate, I was working for National Defense. And remember in the beginning, I was telling you that there is a category of students who will be in trouble trouble because of this new change? Well, in the last few months, there was a rule that allowed a lot of students legally work more than 20 hours. That made them quite a lot of money compared to before. But as a cherry on the top, thanks to some car dealership like these, who made them buy some fancy cars on such a huge interest rates that came down to a monthly installments of anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. Now with this new change, students cannot legally work more than 24 hours. This will eventually decrease their monthly income. That will directly impact their monthly cost. And with a big cost like this, there are high chances that they will start defaulting their loans, which will directly impact their credit score, and eventually it will be really hard for them to get any loan if they want to buy a house in the future. And I'm not saying don't buy a car. I am totally in sync with buying a used car because it will eventually make your life much more easier. You don't have to stand in line waiting for a bus in -10. So definitely you should invest in a car, but your first car should only be invested with the mindset of that it will take you from point A to point B. That's it. Make sure you focus on a high saving zone in your initial years in Canada. And if you're planning on buying a used car and have some questions and you're worried about it, let me know in comments. I did a lot of research when I was buying my first car, so maybe I can help you with that. But if you have stayed till here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell icon so that you get all the information like these every single week. But other than that, let me know what you think about this new rule that is coming up in Canada, and I'll see you guys next week.